Yeah. What he's saying is many are called. They're doing the job of God. Remember, he was teaching, he was preaching, he was healing the sick and every disease among men. He was doing everything he's supposed to do as a man who carries the gospel. So we have people who go out and teach the gospel. We have people who have ministries that heal people. We have people who go out and teach them the gospel. But the one thing that's missing is this one line. But when he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion for them because they were weary and scattered like sheep having no shepherd. You see that? Why do you think the people come in looking for a voice of God? Why do you think the people come to you wanting to hear something more? Why do you think the people were coming to him to be healed of their sicknesses so that diseases could leave them? Didn't they have the Pharisees? Didn't they have the scribes? Didn't they have people teaching them the gospel? Were they not Israelites? Did they not learn about what God had done, bringing them out of Egypt and through the wilderness? Didn't they have all of that? And yet they could not find healing, not for their bodies or their spirits. And when Jesus looked upon them and he started to heal, many started to gather. The multitude started to come. Why was that? It's because he was giving them something that they hadn't been able to receive from anybody else. And he looked at them with compassion. And his heart went out. Because people come searching because they're scattered. They don't know where to turn. They don't know who to talk to. They're scattered. They're weary. They're tired. Their bodies are broken. Their minds are just gone. And their spirits, they just don't know. They're empty. And so when he looked at them, he saw this. He didn't see that they weren't receiving from their churches. They weren't receiving. He looked at somebody who was still lost. Someone who was still hurt. Someone who was empty and needed so much more. And when he looked upon them, he looked upon them with compassion. And he saw, do you know what it means to be in darkness? Do you know what it means to be sick? Do you know what it means to be hurt? Do you know what it means to be alone? Do you know what it feels like to be unloved? And when he looked at these people, he felt that from them because they were without. He said they are like sheep having no shepherd, no one to lead them, no one to connect them. And then when we look at God's people, we look at God's people, do we look at them with compassion? Or are we questioning what do they need? And they ask you a question. Who is this God? How do you know you're believing? How do you know He's true? How do you know? And we try to answer them from a place of knowledge. Because of this, because of that, because He healed, because He delivered. But when you look at somebody, you don't look at their question and answer the question. You look at their connection to God. Jesus had a strong connection to the Father, that nothing separated them. But when he looked at the people, he saw that there was something missing. Something separated them from God. And they were scattered, and there was nobody making the connection, bringing them back into the eyes of the Father. So his heart was moved because do you know how it feels to be without God in your life? Do you know how it feels to be without when you need so much? When you're empty? When you're shattered and broken and in darkness and you feel there's nowhere to turn and no place to go? Has your heart ever been moved because it reminds you of where you have come from?